So guys, welcome back. This time we're going to look at agents, and I'm going to explain to you an idea of a sort of an agentic workflow in RAG. But in a nutshell, what this is a way for the large language model to decide which tools it is going to use to answer the user's question. So we're going to get a number of tools that the large language model can use, and we're basically going to say to it, hey, answer this question. You've got these tools, use them if you want, but answer the question. And so if we just flip over now to this this little sketch pad here, yeah. So essentially, what we've got then, let's say we've got some query here, and we've got our large language model, but our large language model has now got access to some tools. And so, second, let's get another tool. For each one of these tools, we're going to attach these tools available. You've got this sales database, which is useful for blah, blah, blah. You've got this manual of procedures. And so the large language model is going to say, well, yeah, this question, yeah, I'm going to actually go and check out the manual of procedures. And so then he's going to use that query to get some documents, to get some chunks from this manual of procedures. He's then going to come back and he's going to say, okay, I've got this I've got these procedures which are relevant, but maybe he can just answer the question directly and you're going to get some sort of result, and some sort of response. Now, maybe he's going to get that information back and he's going to say, you know what, I still don't have enough information. What tools have I got available? Yeah, maybe I just want to go and check the database, gets the result back from the database. And sort of all this information is going to be sort of kept in the agent scratchpad, where it's going to have the results from all of these systems. And he's going to keep querying these tools for as long as he wants to, until he feels he's got the right answer. And then he's going to say, oh, you know what, I think I can answer the question now, and you're going to get some sort of response. So this whole workflow, this large language model has now become an agent who can decide how he is going to act in relation to this problem. So this is essentially the agentic workflow. So we go back to the notebook and we're going to see how we can actually accomplish this using a LangChain this time. And I'm not going to run this notebook live, but I've got all of the results saved. So I'll just run through the notebook and we'll just see what we need. We're going to need quite a few things now from LangChain, and again you can check out the link to the GitHub repo where you can get this notebook. And so yeah, we're installing a load of stuff from LangChain that we're going to need. This face is we're going to use as some sort of a vector store in this case, and essentially we get on to loading up our language model. This time we're using OpenAI. We get GPT 3.5 Turbo. We get the standard embedding model from OpenAI. This callback handler is just for logging purposes. Now, we've got the vector store. We've seen how to do that. Simply here in this code, I'm just loading some previous vector store that we've already created. So I'm just loading one up, and we're using these same Excel data here that we had before. We had a PDF from Excel 2010 new features, and this second PDF is then going to be just some basics in Excel. It's some sort of PDF document explaining the basics in Excel. And so the idea that we're going to demonstrate here is we're going to say, you can either look into this new features, Excel 2010, or you can look at some Excel basics and see how to do that. So those are two tools that we're going to create. So first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to define a retriever. So this just allows us to query that retriever so we can get relevant documents. So we make a retriever out of this vector store, and we make a retriever out of the second vector store. And then from LangChain Hub, I am just getting a chat prompt template, which has previously been defined. So in LangChain, you can write your own prompts. It's no problem at all. So check out the LangChain series if you want to see how to do that sort of stuff. Or there are many types of prompts for different tasks from the LangChain Hub. And here we're just pulling something from that hub, which is this chat prompt template. And you'll see that inside it has answer questions based on the context. Now, moving on, what we're going to do is we're going to put this prompt template in combination with a large language model, and this creates stuffed documents chain. See the documents to see exactly what all of these sort of LangChain functions do. But essentially this has created a chain where we're going to provide some input to a prompt, and that's going to create the final version of the prompt, which is going to be passed to the large language model. Now on top of that, we're going to use this, and all this will make a lot more sense once you've watched the LangChain videos. If you're struggling with those concepts, we're going to use that, and we're going to add to it this retriever, and we're going to create what is a retrieval chain. So we're basically going to get the user query, go out to the retriever, get the results, which is going to go into the context of this prompt, and the context is then going to go to the large language model, and we're going to get some result. So this is why they call it LangChain, because we end up chaining these disparate parts of the system together. And we end up with these two pipelines of data, one which is going to retrieve from the new features of Excel 2010, and one which is going to retrieve as a basis for the other documents. So we have these two retrieval chains. Now what we need to do is define, and we'll just check how long we've been running up here. We've been running for 9 minutes, so let's continue. Now what we need to do is define the tools. We've basically created two tools, which is basically going to be doing RAG on one set of documents or RAG on another set of documents. We've got two tools, and we're going to provide them in a list. This tool instance, this tool class is a LangChain class called tool, where we provide a name of the tool. We give this description useful for understanding the new features released in MS Excel 2010. This description is going to be what the large language model sees when it decides if it wants to use any of these tools. So we create these instances of the tool class, we put that in a list, and these are all the tools that are going to be available for the final large language model to use if he sees fit. Now, we're going to need some form of prompt, some sort of prompt to give to our final large language model. So here we're pulling another prompt down from the hub. I'll just zoom in there so you can see that a little bit better. And this time we've got different input variables. We've got this agent scratchpad, and that's basically going to be a list of everything that we've got back so far from the tools. And then we've got the tool names, the actual tools, and if we have a look at the actual text here, we'll see here where it says actual template, we'll see answer the following questions as best you can. I'll just zoom out so I can see this. You have access to the following tools. Then it gets the tools. Use the following format. And so this is the prompt, which is basically defining the workflow for the final large language model. So there you go. We create this agent, which gets the list of the tools that we've defined above. It gets this prompt template that we've defined, and we specify which large language model we want to use. And then we do this agent executor, and this agent executor creates the actual object that we can run. And in LangChain, you know that you run things by calling this invoke method. And so by the time we get to this invoke method, basically under the hood, we are going to be running this process which I described for you at the beginning of the video. Okay, so we get some sort of input. I need to format numbers in basic Excel. And from that, we get the response. And in this response, we can see every step that this agent has taken. And I've just written some code here, which is going to enable us to have a look at everything which has happened under the hood as we went through this process. So we got some initial query, which says I need to format numbers in basic Excel and use a new version of Excel to discover patterns, etc. And we get some final response from our large language model. And as we look now at the different steps that this model has gone through, and this is basically everything that has happened by this LangChain agent under the hood. So first of all, the agent gets the question. It says, okay, first I should learn how to format numbers in basic Excel. And so, okay, I need to use a tool. I've got these tools. It looks at the tools. It says, okay, I need to use the Excel Basics tool. It gives some sort of input to that tool, and that kicks off that pipeline that is going to interact with the vector store and get some sort of response. And this is the response that it received from that tool. It then says, okay, I also need to know the new features in Excel 2010. And so it chooses Excel 2010 tool. It gives some sort of input to that pipeline. The information flows through that pipeline, and we get some sort of a result from that pipeline. And as a basis of those two results, which are kept in this agent scratchpad, it provides some sort of final response which answers the question. So that is a very quick look at this agentic workflow. We're coming up to the 15-minute limit for this video. So do take a moment to go through this notebooks and all of the different LangChain functions that we need to make this work. But effectively, when we use LangChain to do this, all of this heavy lifting underneath the hood, interacting with various large language models, is taken care of. And so this, we really see some of the advantage of doing some of this RAG work with LangChain. So I'll see you guys in the next video.